ABC Wednesday.
Y'all complain all day. We want books. We want paper towels in the classroom. Bet you want raises too.
I'm still waiting on the paper towels.
Abbott Elementary returns with the new season.
We asked the district for more after-school programs. They gave us $50 for class pets instead.
Critics cheer. Abbott Elementary continues to be one of the funniest and most beloved shows on TV.
What y'all doing out there?
Taking bribes.
Proud of y'all.
Abbott Elementary. Season premiere Wednesday, 9:30, 8:30 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Hello, and welcome back to 3D Printing Basics. This is episode number 14, and since it is going to be December 1st on the date of this release, I am going to be making this episode holiday themed. This episode is going to be all about 3D printed gifts that you can give to your family, as well as some 3D printing gifts that you can ask for from your friends and family to gift you. Before we get into that, I would of course like to ask if you could follow and rate this podcast 5 stars. And if you are able to, supporting it would mean the world to me. There's a link down in the show notes. All the support I have received so far is nothing short of amazing, and I appreciate all my listeners. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast, and I'm just so thankful for every one of you. Okay, so first thing I wanted to talk about was Thingiverse and Printables. These are 2 different websites what they do, they are just libraries full of STL files. What people do is they'll make their STL files, they design them on Tinkercad, Fusion 360, SolidWorks, any of those programs, and then they'll upload it for free to these websites. So if you look on Thingiverse.com or Printables.com, you can search up just about anything you can think of, and there are millions and millions and millions of files on these websites that you can download and print for free. The only thing I want to mention is that if you are looking to sell these, make sure you look at the licenses that are listed under them, because some of them you can download and you can sell and you won't get any repercussions for it. But some of them, for example, there's an attribution license, which means that you have to, when you're listing the product, you have to say, I got it from this creator. And then there are also licenses called copyright licenses where you just can't sell it at all. So make sure you're looking out for that. But overall, I know most of us aren't interested in selling, so Thingiverse and Printables are perfect for us and for the hobbyist 3D printer, because there are millions of designs at your fingertips that you can download and print right away. So for the things that you could print, there's tons of decorations like ornaments, Christmas trees, cute decor items, print any kind of holiday themed thing. And the only thing I want to mention about this is what kind of filament you're using. If you're making a decoration like a Christmas ornament that's going to go on a Christmas tree that's inside, PLA is totally fine. You can definitely use that. But if you are printing an object that's going to be outside, do not use PLA. Even though it's probably only going to be outside for the month of December, make sure you use PETG, because PETG is much better suited for the elements and you'll have a lot better chance of it lasting outside. And an example of what I'm working on that relates to the holiday theme is I'm working on a Christmas tree. It's actually on my desk right now. I'm looking at it. I'm trying to design a Christmas tree that can have just a string of lights in it, and then the lights are all lighting up and it looks really cool. So that's something that I'm working on right now. So gifts you can print for kids. Just taking a quick look, I searched up one thing on Thingiverse, and the first thing that came up was a Star Wars Walker kit. So basically, it's just like a Lego set. It comes and you print all these parts flat, and then you break them all apart, and then you or the kid that you give this to, or even together, you can put together all these parts and you eventually assemble a complete Star Wars Walker that looks pretty good and is pretty accurate. So that's a great gift that you can give to kids. I really like it because it can be a great bonding time for you and whatever child you decide to give it to. You guys could spend time together building this, and it also sparks their creativity, which is something I'm a big fan of. And it can also help introduce them to 3D printing, especially if you show them the kit that he built that's actually being printed on your 3D printer. You could be like, oh, hey, remember we built this kit? Well, this is it right now. And you could introduce them to the world of 3D printing through something that he created, which I think child is going to really relate to. And something else I just saw scrolling along is a toy 3D printer kit. So what it is, let me bring it up. It's made by KC8RWR, and I'll put a link to the file down in the show notes. But what it is it's just a mini toy 3D printer. It doesn't work or anything, but it's a replica RepRap 3D printer. And I think this is really awesome if you want to introduce somebody to the world of 3D printing. You can have them put together this machine. It's a 3D printed 3D printer, so you can work together with them, put it all together, and then you could use it as kind of the introduction and their base to 3D printing, which I think is really, really cool and a really good way to bring someone into this space. This file that I just mentioned has 73 parts and could definitely be a good long-term building project. My guess is with something that has 73 parts, it's going to take a little bit of time to put together. So just like the 5,000 piece puzzles you see, I think this and one of those are very, very similar and could take a while and get some good bonding time in with your kids on like a rainy day or sometimes when they can't be outside. Okay, now looking around and printing some gifts for adults, you can look at decorations that I mentioned. On printables, I took a look and I'm seeing mainly a corner decoration. It's basically holiday themed and it's meant to go on door trims or mantelpieces. It's a 90-degree corner that has decorations on it. There's a ton of designs for this particular one. I'll put a link to it in the show notes, but you can print out like 8 of them and you can give them out to anybody. So I think it's a really good idea to look around for something like this that's holiday themed. And also, if you weren't looking at something that's holiday themed and you still wanted to print out gifts to give people, another cool thing you could look at is lithophanes. And basically what lithophanes are is you 3D print a flat object, and if you stand it upright, if you put a light behind it, it will project a photo. And this is really cool because there are a ton of lithophane generators out there. Online, you can just look it up and you can find them. And you can put any picture that you want in there and it will generate an STL for you. So you don't even have to do the hard work of like trying to design this and trying to get it perfectly right. The website will completely already do it for you. And it's just really cool because you can print out family pictures and you can give them to your mom, maybe pictures of kids for the grandma, a friend's picture for your buddies. The possibilities are endless. You can use literally any picture that you want and it will generate it for you. And you can also do it in different styles. You can print a curved version with a light behind it. I've seen people use them to make lampshades. So they have a 4-sided lampshade and they put it over a light bulb. So it's constantly projecting photos on all 4 sides. And lithophanes, in my opinion, are just really, really cool. So that's definitely something that you can look at if you're looking to 3D print some gifts for adults. I know those are just a few suggestions, but I would say check out Thingiverse and Printables. There's millions and millions of files on there, and you can scroll endlessly, and I'm sure there's going to be something up there for you if the things that I suggested are not quite what you were looking for. Okay, now that we have said what you can print for other people, let's talk about what you could ask for. So my guess is that people buying gifts for you aren't willing to spend $600 on a bamboo, and that's, it's understandable. So I'm going to talk about the less expensive accessories that you can ask for. First is something that not a lot of people might think of, but an air cleaner is actually a really good idea if you're going to be doing a lot of 3D printing, especially if you have a setup like mine, where the 3D printers are in your room right next to your desk where you spend a lot of time at. An air cleaner is very, very important just to make sure that none of the fumes can get to you. An air cleaner is very important and a very good gift to ask for. Another one is a streaming or security camera to monitor printers that have no cameras. This is just so that when you're away, it's easy to monitor your prints. I had one for a long time when I only had the Prusa i3 MKSs. I had a security camera, so when I was away, I could check in on them to make sure there's no catastrophic failures going on. Another good one is a dehumidifier for filament storage. Dehumidifiers are pretty cheap, and they're also a really good way, if you can get it in an enclosed space, to keep the environment controlled and temperature regulated so that you could store filament in there. Another option that you could go with is build plates, because just like they say in woodworking, you can never have enough clamps. I believe in 3D printing, you can never have enough build plates. These things wear out. Over time, they get less and less effective, so it's always a good idea to have a couple extra build plates on hand. And also, there's a ton of different ones out there. You got smooth build sheets, you got textured sheets, you got PEI, you got PEX, you got those crazy carbon fiber design sheets. There's just a ton of different build plates out there, and you could definitely ask for some of those for the holidays. Another good option is a tweezer set for getting rid of strings or fine supports. And this also goes into the next suggestion. I was going to suggest getting a cutting mat for assembling projects. So if you got, say, a tweezer set and a cutting mat, then you can work on your little models, getting all the supports out of there, getting the strings out of there, and making it look good. And also, if you needed to do some things with a knife, if you needed to cut some pieces, if you needed to separate some pieces, if you printed them out like with tabs, then you could use the cutting mat to cut those pieces apart. And I'm going to try to get the links to some of these products, specifically the ones that I have, because I do have a lot of these. I'm going to try and set up some links to them and put them in the show notes. If you are interested in any of these things, feel free to check that out. It's going to be below the episode. And I think there are lots of options for printing gifts for your family and friends, and as well as asking for gifts. I know this is just a small example of ideas, but I hope this can kickstart your brain as we dive deeper into the 3D printing world. I know me personally, I'm always thinking about what I could ask for or what I could make for other people. And I just say, I keep a list. I've kept a list year round of things like, oh, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. I could get that. I could use that. And it really will come in handy when those who support you can get you a nice gift that will help out your hobby or in some cases your profession. So I would say always be on the lookout for things you can make for people as well as things you could ask for when the holidays come around. That's pretty much all I have to say. Please make sure you like and follow and support my podcast. Thank you for listening. I hope everybody has a great holiday. Even though I'm not taking it off, I'm still going to be uploading episodes. So I hope everybody has a happy holidays. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.